Right. Hi, everyone. I'm here today with Alleson Lansel, who came to the Congress for the first time last year. And we're so excited to have her back this year. Um, and yeah, maybe you want to start just by telling us a little bit about how you started or how you came to your path.
Mm. Well, it's a common story. I grew up as the black sheep in the family, and I was always looking for something. It was like I would just look at all the different teachings and different people, and I kept going, no, that's not the group. No, that's not it. And I didn't know what I was searching for, but I knew I was definitely searching for something. And it came out when my kids got to the age where they would rather that their parents disappear. I started exploring things I was interested in. I had been a registered nurse for years already, and I was very interested in alternative healing. So I started going to women's groups, healing circles, not knowing what they were, and dabbling that way. Started Reiki. It was all good, but it still wasn't what I was looking for. And then I had heard about a class and I couldn't make it into it, long story. But I really, really wanted to do the class. And about a year later, the teacher of that class literally walked into my life. And no dummy, I knew that that was the sign that I needed to study with this woman. And she opened the portal to shamanism. I don't think I would have ever consciously sought it out. I didn't know what it was. And I found her whole world peculiar, but I always had this sense of remembering. It was just this euphoria of, I found my tribe. This is who I am. And I don't have the right skin color, but this is my soul. And so I started studying, and she was my portal into South America and working with the South American shamans. And I'd done quite a bit of traveling through Peru and Bolivia, a little bit in Colombia. I'm an eternal student. I have many, many teachers, and I also am a teacher. I always have this vision that in humanity, I'm always reaching my hand out to help people up on their path, but at the same time, there's always a hand for me to take me up. And that's what we're doing. We're helping each other. And that's a lot about what shamanism is. It really, really has sung to my soul.
Nice. Lovely. Yes, I can echo that. It's really been a wonderful path for me too. And one thing I love about shamanism, well, several things I love about it, but one that's called I think Sandra Ingerman and Hank Wesselman coined this term, the path of direct revelation. That it's, yes, and you just have this such an immediate connection and knowing of the multidimensional aspects of this planet and beyond. Yeah. So it does, I feel like it offers this. It's I think it's interesting, I guess, because what I'm comparing it to, I also practice kind of a more I guess I don't know if it's Buddhist, but the Vedic, where it's more, they have like this path to enlightenment. And I love that shamanism is more inclusive. It's so, it can be so tailored to the individual for what you need and what you can offer.
It can. And there's what you referred to earlier. My teachers always said, I can take you to the experience, and it's the experience that will be your teacher.
Yes.
In great beauty, we can find our way through so many things. So like what I'm bringing to the conference this summer is the connection to the ancestors. And in the teachings, we can't know where we're going until we know where we've been. And our future selves already exist, and they know how to help us get to where we need to go. So all we have to do is to learn how to listen and came from this beautiful helping body of ancestors that they're highly vested in helping us. And when I refer to the ancestors, I'm referring to not just our biological or our genetic lineage, but our future and all beings. So we look at all things living, everything's living, and everything has consciousness. And so we want to be able to speak to that and be part of that. And that's what shamanism teaches. It teaches the bridge, the connection to our Western way of thinking that, I used to love the shamans when we'd be over in South America, because they just literally fall down laughing with tears rolling at the way we think. And you just sit there and go, well, but our Western mind is stuck. And like one of my teachers, he said, and it's a common quote, but the shamans are saying this. They're saying, what we've learned got us to where we are, and it isn't going to work going forward. So we have to do different things and different ways of looking at it. And so that's why I'm really passionate about shamanism, because it's a whole different viewpoint, very unfamiliar in a large portion of our culture.
Lovely, lovely. So yeah, coming back to the Congress. So you came last year for the first time, and what was your experience of it, or what is drawing you back?
Well, kindred souls. It's just nice to be able to kick back sometimes and be with your tribe. And I recognized the tribe.
Mhm.
And so, it doesn't matter the faces and the names and where they came from. It's your tribe, and you can rest in that. And that's a beautiful thing. You don't always need to be seed planting, right?
Yes, yes.
And the other thing was that the class that I taught, people seem so thirsty. They just seem like they really, really, really want to know and want to understand. I'm just so vested in helping people along in that way, that want to know. Years and years ago, when I was in the Amazon, we were doing some journey work, and I was asking about my purpose. And I spent 3 days on a quest asking about my purpose. And I got the message that practicing as a shaman, which I take that word so careful because I don't like the title, but to assume it is what I should say. But to do that, and that was my purpose in this life. And at the same time, the shamans were right in front of me. They were rattling and doing their thing. And I just remember thinking, well, there's shamans and there's me. And how do I ever, ever, ever get to the magnificence of the people that stand before me? And they showed me, because I was on the Rio Madre de Dios, the river mother of God. They showed me in the Amazon how at nighttime all the condensation moisture from the jungle goes up into the trees, and at sunrise it all comes down in rain, and it's just this cycle. And they showed that, and they showed the rain coming down and making little rivulets, and then I watched the rivulets become little streams of water, and then they became little creeks, and eventually they became the Rio Madre de Dios. And what they said to me was, one drop at a time. That's how you do this. And so that's been my way of actually approaching things, and realizing one drop at a time is all that it takes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's very heart encouraging to be able to be supported and carried by that image. That's lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's so many magnificent teachers in the world. And that's why I'm an eternal student. There's sometimes just a way of turning something, and then somebody has an aha just because it got turned,
Yeah.
of no. And that is something that you can always learn and glean from others. And yeah, and of course, students and clients are my greatest teachers. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And so you mentioned your class this year is about connecting with ancestors.
Right. So the first, well, I don't know what sequence they'll come in, but one of the ceremonies that I want to do with people is sacred rites of dismemberment. It's considered like an initiation, a personal rite. So it's a guided journey, and there's two parts to it. And in the first part, with guidance and preparation, you allow yourself to pretty much be your physical self to be destroyed. And it's often things like a bird came and tore my flesh off, or, it's all these different, everybody's experience is different. And so somebody would go, well, why would we do that? We do that because we have to let go of the old self. It's not working for us. And people will say, well, there's things about myself I like. Well, those gifts always return. What we're interested in is releasing that which isn't serving us. So we go through the dismemberment aspect of it, and then we visit what we call the 5 worlds. And it's moving through levels of consciousness as represented by all the beings that we're familiar with here on Pachamama, Mother Earth. So in the first level, we're working with stone people. And in the second level or world, we're working with the plant people. And so it goes on. So the purpose of visiting these worlds is to remember who we are and who our connections are and what we're connected to, and to rebuild what we call our medicine body. And so off with the old, in with a new way of being. So it's a journey that's often taken in other cultures when there's transitions, so that you're letting go, always letting go of the past. We call the past the hungry ghosts that feed at your table. So yeah.
Wow.
So
sounds great.
the second one is learning how to, again, guided journey, how to work with the ancestors. And so again, we're looking at the ancestors from our past, and then the ancestors of our future, and all things, all beings, everything living, everything is living, all part of our ancestry. So it's going to be a journey that's going to help people to find that river of wisdom that flows with the ancestors, so that we can get in and listen and learn. And it's all it's personal work, and what people glean from this, they'll be able to apply in their own meditations for answers and for information. Because 99.9% of what we do in shamanism is there's always a focus on journey work, journeying to the other worlds, and journeying with power animals, and journeying with spirit guides, and we're either dying or journeying.
But it seems like with shamanism, there's also, you're always bringing it back into this life, into this world. It's not about leaving the world at all.
That's right. You're taking information. And the other thing that I always find really interesting, and this came from working with past lives. I got a little bit frustrated working with past life stuff with people, because I was very cognizant that we literally have thousands and thousands of past lives, and whatever is troubling a person might be a life that has stepping stones of lives through literally eternity. So I kept finding a way to work through past lives so that we could do kind of like a conglomerate, instead of just, well, this one relates to your situation. And so in the past life work, we can go through our DNA. So this is, a long way of saying, I learned that you have your You have your genetic family, and then you have everything you have ever been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your DNA, your genetics. And so that is a portal that you can go through to do lots and lots of personal work. So yeah, you're working with your own ancestry. I was just sharing with somebody just the other day because they're stuck in a pattern, and I was saying, well, the patterns can come. You can inherit patterns from your ancestors. It's bigger than just that. Grandpa had a weird shoulder, and so do you. That we inherit, and we can learn to find those and to work with them and to release them and to heal them. Don't you think the ancestors want them healed as much as we do? They do. Absolutely. So when we come to this path and we're called in it, we also become very aware that we're here to help generational healing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Having experienced that myself. Yes.
I'm sure you have.
Yes.
You're a bit more than knee deep.
Yeah. It's so freeing and healing when you can release not just for yourself, but for your ancestors. It's very rewarding.
Mhm, mhm.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. So a reminder to everybody, the Fairy Congress this year, the dates are July 20th through 24th. You can register at fairycongress.com, FAIRY Congress. And at the time of this recording, our next registration deadline is July 5th. After that, we go to our gate price. So we add on a little bit. We really appreciate people signing up early. It helps us order the food and get organized. So we hope to see you there. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Very nice being with you, Lindsay.
Yeah, you too.